You are addicted to approval. Not because you are weak, but because you have been trained to be weak. From the moment you could understand language, you were conditioned to seek the nod, the smile, the validation of others. You were told it was manners. You were told it was kindness. You were told it was simply how good people behave. But nobody told you the truth. Nobody told you that this desperate hunger for external validation is a poison. A slow, silent poison that eats away at your soul until there is nothing left but a hollow shell, performing for an audience that doesn't even care if you exist. Look at your life right now. How many decisions have you made not because you wanted to make them, but because you were afraid of what someone else would think? How many dreams have you buried because someone laughed? How many words have you swallowed because you feared judgment? How many relationships have you stayed in? Jobs have you kept? Clothes have you worn? Opinions have you parroted? All for the sole purpose of getting a crumb of approval from people who will forget your name the moment you leave the room. This is the hidden prison of the weak mind, and you have been living in it your entire life. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus understood this prison better than anyone. Born a slave, crippled in body, stripped of every external possession and dignity, he discovered something that the free men of his time never could. He discovered that the only thing that truly belongs to you is your own mind. Everything else, your reputation, your wealth, your relationships, your social standing, is borrowed. It is on loan from fate, and it can be taken back at any moment. But here is the twist that will shake you to your core. Epictetus did not say that seeking approval is a mistake. He said it is a form of slavery, of voluntary slavery. You are not forced to care about what others think. You choose to care every single day. You choose to hand over the keys to your happiness to strangers. You choose to let the opinions of people who don't know you, who don't love you, who don't even respect themselves, dictate how you feel about yourself. And this is where the weakness truly lies. It is not weakness to want connection. It is not weakness to desire love. Human beings are social creatures. We need each other. But there is a vast, terrifying difference between needing connection and needing validation. Connection is oxygen. Validation is poison. Connection asks, "Are you there?" Validation asks, "Do you approve of me?" Connection is a bridge between two souls. Validation is a mirror. It is you, looking at yourself through the eyes of others, desperately trying to see a reflection you can live with. And because that reflection is never perfect, because people are fickle, judgmental, and inconsistent, you are trapped in an endless cycle of adjustment. You change your personality depending on who you are with. You become a chameleon. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You agree with opinions you despise. You suppress your true self, the raw, messy, beautiful, authentic self, and you replace it with a curated, sanitized, approved version. A version that is safe. A version that is acceptable. A version that is dead. Consider the most painful moments of your life. Think about the times you felt most alone. Were you truly alone? Or were you surrounded by people, smiling, nodding, accepting you, yet feeling completely invisible? That is the curse of the validation seeker. You can be in a room full of people who adore the mask you wear and still feel utterly empty inside because they don't know you. They never knew you. And you sacrifice the real you for the cheap currency of their approval. Epictetus wrote that the person who seeks approval from others has made themselves a slave. But he also wrote something far more devastating. He wrote that the person who seeks approval is not just a slave to others. They are a slave to their own fear. You don't care what they think because they are powerful. You care because you are terrified. Terrified of rejection. Terrified of being exposed as a fraud. Terrified of the silence that will follow if you stop performing. And this terror is what keeps you small. It keeps you in jobs you hate. It keeps you in relationships that drain you. It keeps you silent when you should speak, and loud when you should be quiet. It is a tyrant that rules your life with an iron fist, and you have handed it the throne. Let's look at this from a psychological perspective. The need for validation is rooted in the ego. The ego is not your true self. The ego is the story you tell yourself about who you are. And that story needs constant reinforcement from the outside world to survive. Without external validation, the story begins to crumble. The illusion shatters, and you are left staring into the abyss of your own uncertain identity. Who are you when nobody is watching? Who are you when there is no one to impress, no one to perform for, no one to judge you? If you cannot answer that question with clarity and peace, you are living a lie. But society is built on this lie. Think about how the world functions. Social media is a validation machine. Every like, every comment, every view is a tiny hit of dopamine, a temporary fix for the aching void inside. You post a picture and you wait. You refresh the page obsessively. Your mood rises and falls with the number of notifications. You are not sharing your life. You are begging for proof that your life matters. Advertising preys on this same weakness. They sell you products not as tools, but as status symbols. They tell you that if you wear this brand, drive this car, drink this beverage, you will be approved of. You will be accepted. You will be loved. And you buy it. Not because you need it, but because you need the validation it promises. You are not a consumer. You are a supplicant, begging the marketplace to approve of your existence. This is the sickness of the modern world. And it is a sickness that has been cultivated and encouraged because a population that seeks validation is a population that can be controlled. A person who cares what others think is a person who can be manipulated. They can be shamed into compliance. They can be bullied into silence. They can be praised into selling their souls. Epictetus understood this with terrifying clarity. He knew that the emperor, the powerful man, the person who holds the whip, rules not through physical force alone. He rules through the mind. He rules through the mind. He rules by making you care about his opinion. And the moment you stop caring, the moment you become indifferent to the approval of the powerful, you become free. But here's the next layer of this brutal truth, the one that will make you uncomfortable. You are not seeking validation from everyone. You are seeking it from a specific group. The people who you have elevated above yourself. You have placed them on a pedestal. You have decided, consciously or unconsciously, that their opinion is more valuable than your own. And why? Because you have judged yourself to be inferior. This is the root of the entire problem. You do not seek approval because you need it. You seek approval because you don't believe you deserve to approve of yourself. You have looked in the mirror and found yourself wanting. You have judged yourself harshly, cruelly, and unjustly. And so you reach out to others, begging them to do what you cannot do for yourself. You beg them to tell you that you are enough, because you do not have the courage to tell yourself. You are waiting for permission. Permission to exist. Permission to be happy. Permission to succeed. Permission to fail. And you will wait forever, because that permission will never come. The world is too busy seeking its own validation to grant you yours. The people you look up to are just as lost, just as scared, just as desperate as you are. They are faking it. Everyone is faking it. And the approval you crave from them is nothing but the approval of another slave. So what is the alternative? What did Epictetus propose? He proposed a radical, terrifying, liberating solution. He proposed that you separate the things that are within your control from the things that are outside of it. Your thoughts, your judgments, your desires, your actions. These are within your control. What others think of you, whether they approve, whether they applaud or criticize, that is outside your control. It is irrelevant. To worry about the irrelevant is to waste your life. It is to spend your precious, irreplaceable time on something that does not matter. You will die. Everyone who has ever approved of you will die. Your reputation will fade. The opinions of others will be forgotten. The only thing that will remain is what you did, not what they thought of it. This is not an invitation to become a sociopath. It is not an excuse to be cruel. It is a call to authenticity. It is a call to live a life that is true to your own nature, your own values, your own understanding of what is right. You do not need to rebel against society. You simply need to stop begging for its approval. When you stop needing validation, something miraculous happens. You become free. You speak your truth, not because you want to convince others, but because it is your truth. You act with integrity, not because you want to be seen as good, but because you want to be good. You pursue your passions, not because you want to impress, but because you love them. You become magnetic. People are drawn to you, not because you are performing for them, but because you are real. Authenticity is the most powerful force in the world. It is the only force that cannot be faked. And here's the final, most devastating twist of all. When you stop seeking validation, you often receive it. But by then, it doesn't matter anymore. You no longer need the applause. You no longer need the applause. You no longer need the approval. You will become your own source of validation. You have become the master of your own soul. The approval of others becomes a pleasant side effect, not a necessary condition of your happiness. You can accept it with grace and let it go without attachment. Think about the great figures of history, the ones who changed the world. They were not seeking approval. They were seeking truth. They were seeking justice. They were seeking greatness. They were ridiculed, persecuted, and condemned. They were told they were wrong. They were told they were fools. And they didn't care. Because they had something that the weak-minded will never have. They had conviction. They had self-belief. They had the courage to be themselves in a world that desperately wanted them to be someone else. Epictetus himself was a slave. He was beaten, broken, and powerless by any external measure. Yet he became one of the most influential philosophers in history, not because he sought approval, but because he lived his truth. He taught his students that the only thing that matters is the soul. The soul cannot be chained. The soul cannot be beaten. The soul cannot be controlled. It is free. And you can only give away that freedom if you care about the approval of others. So, ask yourself today, right now, as you sit there reading these words, who are you performing for? Who is the audience in your mind? Whose voice do you hear when you doubt yourself? Whose judgment do you fear? And then ask yourself the question that Epictetus would ask you. Are you a slave to that voice? Or are you free? You cannot serve two masters. You cannot chase the approval of the world and the approval of your own soul. You must choose. And the choice is not easy. It is not comfortable. It will cost you relationships. It will cost you opportunities. It will cost you the illusion of safety. But what you will gain is priceless. You will gain yourself. You will gain your integrity. You will gain the ability to look in the mirror and see a free human being. A human being who does not beg. A human being who does not grovel. A human being who stands alone, if necessary, but stands with dignity. The weak mind needs validation. The strong mind is its own validation. The weak mind looks to others for permission. The strong mind gives itself permission. The weak mind is a mirror, reflecting the world's expectations. The strong mind is a lamp, illuminating the world with its own truth. You have been weak long enough. You have been a slave long enough. You have begged for crumbs long enough. Stop. Stop looking for the nod. Stop waiting for the applause. Stop rearranging your soul to fit the preferences of people who don't even know their own souls. Begin the journey inward. Find the part of you that was there before the conditioning, before the fear, before the need to be liked. Find that voice. It is quiet. It has been silenced for a long time, but it is still there. It is the voice of your true self. It is the voice of freedom. Listen to it. Trust it. Follow it. And when you do, you will find that the approval of the world means nothing, because you have finally approved of yourself. And that approval is the only one that ever mattered. This is the lesson of Epictetus. This is the hidden truth about the weak mind. This is your liberation. The chains are in your hands. Will you drop them?